So we've got Brett on this clip to talk about Mbappe, and I'm sure the first question I want to ask is I want to prove how absurd amount of money is spent on football players by giving Brett just a couple of choices, like not even choices, just a couple of guesses about how much money this young potential world-beating footballer is set to be moving for. So think about American sports, right? Because you don't have transfer fees that much. You have like big contracts you get signed.
Free agency.
But in world football, you get to go in and you just get to spend crazy money and buy a player. So how much money do you think the superstar 19-year-old should be moving to? By the way, PSG, who are rumored to be the big team splashing the cash.
4 years, 35 million pounds.
So that's his contract, or that's the amount of money they're going to pay to get him?
I don't. No, that's his. That's how much they're going to. That's the big number.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to ask you to quadruple that.
4 years, £1 jillion. I did the math. Let me do it on my phone.
What, according to the Daily Mail right now, that's like the moment where Dr. Evil, where he just comes back from his coma and tries to demand $1 million, and then, hey doctor, that's not that much money anymore. Okay, I want $1 billion. Right now, according to the Daily Mail, which is to be taken with a massive pinch of salt, along with many others, 163 million pounds. PSG are looking to sign Kylian Mbappe from Monaco.
So that doesn't include the contract.
That doesn't include the contract. That's just like you're on that team. I'm going to pay that team, or so I'm paying that team
to take him.
His bail.
It's like free market.
Let me tell you this to you. Do you know, they already bought a player from another team just last week for 220 million. So they're going to spend, as my math is correct, 383 million for 2 players.
All right, it wasn't $1 jillion, but you're right.
Danny Alves
cost 5 million. Yeah, I think so. So,
but the question, we were talking, Francis, about this, and we're going like, look, there's people who say that there are super teams in world football and soccer. There's Real Madrid. You know most of these. Real Madrid, Barcelona. PSG always had the money to do it. Now they actually have done it. Who else? Juventus?
Juventus are not in a super team in terms of but they have good teams.
The best players get poached from them, and they go there. So we have a super team in PSG. But my favorite tweet of the day came from it's like the Lad Bible picked it up. It was somebody else's, and it says, it does. PSG is doing what Barcelona did to Liverpool, what Liverpool does to Southampton, and they're all bitching about it.
It's so funny. It's like, so there's this massive food chain in football where regardless how good your team can be in that retrospective season or whatever it is, like you can have the most monumental season. Like Tottenham didn't have a monumental season, but it makes my point. They finish ahead of Manchester City. It looks so promising in every angle. And Manchester City, because they have the money in the name, I want him. I'm going to take him from you. You don't have anything to say. It happens at every aspect of football to the point where you get that top tier of the food chain. There is still even some movement between those. Like now PSG, because they have the money, they're choosing from Barcelona. They're going in and going, I want him because we've got 220 million that we can spend and he's not that happy. So it's leveling the playing field at the top, but at the top they're not happy with it now.
What is it called? It's not an acquisition fee, but what is it called?
Transfer fee.
Transfer fee. How much does that? How much does that money benefit the team that receives it, and what do they do with it? And was this person that Mbappe, was that just like a diamond in the rough that they found?
So the Mbappe is like, so everyone wants to try and find the new Messi and Ronaldo, right? Those two are the two staples of football.
You're a baby, we got you, and
now we're going to try
and ended up being all the hype.
You're going to try and develop
selling.
This is after one season, basically, right? Well, he was a very good season, but he showed all the signs. So PSG have an enormous amount of wealth. So you would probably have the name Neymar, right? He's a Brazilian superstar. He's always in LA, so you might have seen him. He's always hanging out with Bale and stuff. So PSG signed him from Barcelona. Barcelona, the team that used to be able to just pick and choose who they wanted. Dominant team for years. They've got the world's greatest ever player on their team at the moment. And they lost one of their superstars to a team that's trying to make a move. So everyone expected Mbappe to either move that way and go to Barcelona and go to Real Madrid.
That's why it's so funny. Like
PSG are like, you know what? No, we've got some cash left over.
They play in the French league. It's Paris Saint-Germain.
We've got, after spending $220 million on a meal, we've got 163 for dessert.
This was pretty bright. I guess the best example of this would be like, okay, like NBA players are in their contracts, right? So like the Golden State Warriors, who already have Durant, Curry, Thompson, Green, we're just like, yeah, we got all the money. We just won the championship. Let's just buy LeBron.
Yeah, let's just buy him out. So,
I mean,
but
like
does
the Lakers would be,
to whom the transfer payment go?
The money.
Do they have to?
Depends on what kind of club you are. If you're
say
already,
okay, or is it just like?
So this is a good point.
You do. Yeah.
So in the Spanish league, they have minimum fee release clauses, right? So more often than not, I would say 90% of the time, if a player wants to leave, he can leave. And they usually negotiate a fee that's reasonable, and often it's not reasonable, it's just a lot of money, and they negotiate a fee to try to make a profit. So when it comes to players like Neymar, Messi, and Ronaldo, they're such big names that when they go to teams in Spain, it's a requirement in contracts to have a minimum fee release clause, so that other teams have the ability to come in and just buy them without even having the team agree to it, because it's a minimum fee release clause, meaning they come in and Neymar, it's still on his decision. Just if a team comes in and acts that clause by paying 220, Neymar could just go, no, I'm not going. And then he stays. But he wanted to go.
Anti-trade clause.
He wanted to go.
Right.
Barcelona obviously valued him as so much of a player that they wouldn't negotiate a fee. So say they came in with 100 million, they'd be like, no. So they had to pay that clause in order to get him away from that club. It only happens in Spain. More often than not, you go to other countries. Some of them have minimum fee release clauses. But if you want a player, you're just going to have to pay a certain amount of money. Everyone has their price. Everyone's going to try to make some profit from it. So, but when it comes to this example, it's the first time I think we've ever seen someone's minimum fee release clause be exercised for that amount of money. It's just absurd. But that's the way football's moving. He wanted to move out of Messi's shadow, and now he's into PSG. So, Jason, the question is, last question for you. If they sign Mbappe, are the favourites to win the Champions League?
I think they're the favourites to win the Champions League with Neymar, and that's because I think Real Madrid winning 3 straight would be the most remarkable thing we've ever seen, and why count them out? You can't, but...
so you're being optimistic for PSG?
I'm being optimistic for PSG. I think Mbappe should go to Real Madrid, though.
If Mbappe goes to PSG, Di Maria leaves, in my opinion. He's got to go somewhere else. How's he going to fit?
So that's the other side of it. It's like there's too many people here. I'm not going to get my time. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
It's actually you're taking a starting Argentinian forward that plays alongside Messi for the national team, and he's not good enough to cut it for
that team. Unless you put Neymar through the middle, Di Maria and Mbappe, and kick Cavani out, and then you're leaving another superstar. I'm getting a headache.
I love it.
I'm getting a headache. All right, comment below. What do you think if Mbappe goes to PSG? What in God's earth happens? Thanks to Brett for coming on to sports and suffering through some soccer clips.
I enjoy them.
See you guys soon.